I was visiting a friend in Daytona Beach, Florida, and on my way back home, I decided to stop off at Club 52 Poker Room in Melbourne, Florida. I was here about 2 or 3 weeks ago where I filmed a vlog, and I head into the elevator this time up to the second floor poker room, and it is packed on a Friday night. Tons of tables. I wait for about an hour and then get my seat here at the 5-5 table stakes game. There's a race of 30 over a limp. I call with King 8 suited. Button calls, small blind calls, and limper calls, going multi-way to a pretty good board. Ace, 7, 8, 2 spades, we flop a pair and the nut flush draw. Small blind checks, middle position player checks, and now the initial raiser puts out a bet of $110. I feel like this is a very strong play. Multi-way here, betting into all these people, and after raising $30 pre-flop, I think he has a monster. I don't see much point in raising my hand. I feel like calling is the best option. If we hit our spade or maybe 2 pair, we could potentially win a big pot. And also by calling here, I can allow worse flush draws to call as well. Button folds this 110 and the small blind ends up calling. So we're 3 ways now to the queen of diamonds on the turn. Small blind checks, and if the initial raiser puts out a big bet or goes all in, I may fold my hand, but he checks over to me. I decided to take the free card here, not looking to bluff multi-way, so I check back, and I miss everything. It's an offsuit 6. Small blind checks, hijack puts out a bet of $100, and I fold. Right when I sat down at this table, a player recognized me from YouTube and said that he has watched the vlogs before and that he wants to try to make the vlog this time. He has been enjoying some drinks, and he is definitely here to splash around. There's one limp over a $10 straddle. I raised to $75 with 5-6 of diamonds. There's a little bit of speech play here by the YouTube viewer, and he ends up making a call in position. We're going heads up now to a queen 7, queen 2 club board. Completely missing on this flop, I decided to check out of position over to my opponent, and he checks back. Turn card gives me some equity now with a gut shot straight draw. I decide to lead out for an over pot size bet of $225, thinking he'll fold out a lot of hands that are beating me. Ace high, king high, some jack high hands, maybe even a smaller pocket pair, but my opponent makes the call for $225. Now the river card, offsuit 3. I completely miss. Flush draw misses. Do I go for it here with 6 high or check? And I just feel like this guy is not going to be folding a pair to me. It may not even be folding king high, so I decide to give up here with 6 high, and I check over to my opponent, who fires out a $200 bet, and we are forced to fold our 6 high.
Nice.
Wow. Show him the bluff.
Oh, shit. King high was
Show
good.
him the bluff. Put that one on the blog, my boy.
He promptly shows the bluff. King 2 of clubs for a missed flush draw, and king high. I mean, technically he was ahead with king high, but the effort counts. He did try to bluff. I definitely could have gotten him to fold there if I would have bet the river, but I gotta say, I'm a little rusty. I haven't been playing too much poker lately. I'm semi-retired now, practically. I definitely could have bluffed him off his hand if I would have bet the river. I'm going to try to settle in here, lock in, and try to get some of my money back. The player to my right leaves for the night, so I'm able to slide over to my favorite seat for vlogging, seat number 2. The player who did bluff me in that last hand, king 2 of clubs, and who wants to make the vlog, has stacked up pretty huge, over $5,000 in a stack, which is great for him and great for me because now I can match the stack. It's a table stakes game here, so I now add on to my stack to have around $5,000 in front of me. This player is taking some shots. He's ready to gamble. He's playing almost every single hand. I'm doing anything I can to get into a pot with him, and I do end up getting into a big one here coming up. We'll call this action player seat number 5. Seat number 5 races to $50. He's playing basically every single hand. There's a call. I re-raise on the button with queen jack of clubs to $200, trying to isolate him, especially if he's playing almost any 2 cards. Back over to him, and he snap makes it $500. Other player folds, and now the action's back over on me. I have a suited Broadway over $5,000 deep in position. This is a very easy call for me, so I make the call, and just like that, over $1,000 in the middle of this pot.
I need some help. I need some help.
Oh, I said, was it good for you?
King 8, 2 spades, right color, wrong suit. He checks over to me, I check back. Slightly suspicious there with that check and a 4-bet pot. Turn card 6 of spades, he now leads out super small. I fold, and he shows quad kings.
Wow.
You bet too much.
Talk about running fucking tears.
When I saw those 3 spades, I was hoping they were clubs until he shows quad kings. Wow, nice hand from him, and we are now stuck about $1,500 on the night. Next up, 8-9 of spades under the gun, raised to 30. Player next to act makes it $100. I feel like he definitely has a pretty strong hand here. Now a late position player in the cutoff who's been playing pretty snug makes the cold call for $100. I make the call as well, looking to get in there with a suited connector. Please, dealer, give me something good. King, 9-5, 1 spade. Okay, I'll take it. I have a pair, backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. I check. Initial raiser puts out a bet here of $115. Over now to the cutoff player who cold called. I feel like once he cold calls here, he probably has a lot of pocket pairs like 10s or jacks, maybe ace jack suited, ace queen suited. He does fold though. Now heads up with me, and I'm going to make a pretty easy call here with my second pair and backdoor draws, and I do pick up one of those huge backdoor outs. 6 of spades giving me a straight flush draw. I check, looking to check raise, but he checks back, and just like what has been happening this entire session, I miss everything on the river. I'm sitting here with a 9 in a 3-bet pot after my opponent checked the turn. Would he ever check the turn with aces, ace king, pocket kings? I doubt it. I learned my lesson in that first hand. I am not checking a hand that I don't think is good, so I fire out a $500 bluff here, trying to get him to fold out hands, specifically like 10s, jacks, and queens, and it works. I mean, if he did have those hands, maybe he just had ace high, who knows? He does fold, and we take down our first pot of the night with 8-9 suited.
Am I wrong? I did that a couple times.
I've been here now for around 2.5 hours. As you can see, I have a pretty large stack of chips, but they are all bought. I did not win any of these chips. I'm still stuck around $500 to $800, but seat number 5 is still giving some action, playing almost every single hand, and I play a big one here with him. When I raise with pocket queens and he 3-bets me to $200, he's been doing this with basically any 2 cards, raising to 100, raising to 200. Well, now I have the goods. Back over to me. We're sitting pretty deep, around $2,000, $2,500 deep in a 5-5 game. So I 4-bet here to $700 out of position, knowing he wants to make the vlog. He's most likely going to call, and after about 30 minutes of deliberating, he does call for $700, a pretty massive one here. $1,500 in the middle with pocket queens to a jack, 3, 2-heart board. All in all, I think this is a pretty great flop for pocket queens. It's pretty hard to flop trips. I mean, he did flop quads earlier with pocket kings. It's possible he could have pocket jacks. There's no ace or king on the board, so I feel pretty good when I bet out $400. He snap folds, and to be honest, a little disappointed. Was hoping that maybe he would catch a small piece and I could win a bigger pot, but $750 of profit in one hand, I'll take it. I will say I have not been playing my best this session. I feel like I am playing a little bit impatient, a little undisciplined. I'm trying to make stuff happen for the vlog, trying to have some exciting hands, and I'm just not really getting too much going. I've been calling with hands I shouldn't be. I've been raising hands that I should not be raising, and I've been getting in spots that I just shouldn't be in, but I'm bored, and to be honest, this game is slightly smaller than I'm used to, which tends to make me play a little bit looser and a little bit more splashy, and I definitely have to look at that a little bit. I have been pretty card dead as well, and at the end of this video, I do go over some tricks and tips of what you could do at the table if you're experiencing the dreaded card deadness. Well, I'm still down around $1,000 before the button limps for $5. Small blind calls. With pocket eights, I raise it up here and get 2 callers. Flop middle set, and my opponent in the big blind leads out for $50. With bottom set on this board, super wet and connected, I raise it up right away. I make it $200 to go. Back over to the button now, who folds. I'm hoping to get value from a queen, a flush draw, a straight draw, but my opponent just folds. So I finally make a hand. I make a set in a raised pot and just really don't get much action. But sometimes that happens in poker. It's very hard to make a hand. And when you do get a hand, you got to have your opponent have something for you to get paid off with. It's around midnight now. I still have around a 2.5-hour drive back home to Fort Lauderdale tonight. I decide that this is my last orbit before I pick up ace-7 of diamonds in the big blind. The action player in seat number 5 has slowed down a little bit, but he is still raising a lot of hands. He makes it 50 and there's a button call. I contemplate 3-betting for value with ace-7 of diamonds, trying to isolate this player, but I am at a position. I have a suited ace. I could potentially flush over flush. a particular opponent's in here, so I decide to just call $50 and I flop top 2 pair on ace 7 6 all hearts. Now, it is an all heart board. I do have to be a little bit careful, but maybe this is my hand where I can get my $1,000 back. I check in the initial raiser. Seat number 5 bets out $75. Button folds. I check raise right away. I make it $300 to go. He doesn't think for too long and makes the call. The wild thing about this guy is he could have anything here. He could have flopped the nuts. He could have ace king. He could just be calling this raise with a 4 of hearts, trying to get lucky. You never know. Turn card is a terrible one. It's the deuce of hearts. Now bringing in 4 hearts on the board. I check over to him, and he checks this one back. Please pair the board. Nope, it's an offsuit 3. I don't see much value in betting, so I check over to him, and he shows Jack 7 offsuit with the Jack of hearts. That is going to beat our flop 2 pair. We had him in rough shape. And yeah, not the best session for us. I end up booking the L here, a little bit less than $1,000. Got a long drive home. I end up racking up my chips, heading to the cage, getting some chocolate, and then cashing out for the night. Well, it's been a while since I've been out here on the golf course. It was super hot in the summer, and then I got a little lazy in the fall, but it's perfect Florida winter weather, about 70 degrees. And yeah, we're back out on the golf course here. I came in for like the twilight discount time here, so I only got about 2 hours left of daylight. Gonna go over some tips and tricks of what to do when you're card dead. Now, the wind was in my favor, and I hit it off the reds, the women's tees. But this might be one of my best tee shots ever. I mean, we're close. We're 80 yards away. I was going to say on here that depending on how many years you've played poker, maybe you're better at dealing with being card dead or spot dead or not having anything going on. But to be honest, I don't really think that's the case. It's super tilting whenever you're at a decent table, or even if you're at any table and you're just super card dead. You can't get anything going. You can't get any big hands. And that's how I was basically in this video. For about 4 hours, I didn't really get into that many interesting spots. I did pick up queens once, and maybe ace king. Other than that, just really trash hands pre-flop. I was trying to make things happen a little bit and just couldn't really quite get too much going. But a couple tips here. One would be that it's just one long big session when it comes to poker. So basically, when you're playing poker, I know it feels like you're in the session now and you got to try to get your money back now, or you got to try to get things going now, but it's just one long big session. This session, next week's session, next month's session, next year's session, it's just a big long road to the end game when you end up not playing poker anymore. But it's just one long session. So basically, if you're card dead today, that may change next time you come in. You might be card dead for a whole week. And then the next time you come in, you start picking up hands. So it's very, very tough not to get frustrated and not to get impatient. But you have to be patient. You have to be disciplined, because there's going to be times for a couple days, for a week, even for a month, that you're card dead and running bad, and you just kind of have to try to work through it. So another trick or tip you can do if you're impatient or if you're super card dead and you can't get too much going is to distract yourself. Trying to find a way to distract yourself so that you're not playing crazy, terrible hands and losing a bunch of money or spewing a bunch of money. So one way you can distract yourself is talking to the people at the table. I mean, you're there with 7 other people plus the dealer. Strike up a conversation with somebody, ask them a question, talk to them, ask them something that they do, whatever. Maybe you'll make a friend, and it will also help buy the time whenever you're picking up trash hands. Also, another thing you can do to distract yourself, I'm not really a big fan of this, could be putting in headphones, listening to some music, maybe watching a TV show, watching a movie on your phone. I don't feel like it's that big of a deal at a 1-2 or 2-5 table. If it's a public game and, you know, people are distracted, I feel like it's not that big of a deal. If you're playing a game where people are very social, maybe drinking, or it's in an atmosphere where you wouldn't want to be on your phone or watching a movie, I would say to kind of, you know, stray away from that. But I don't see too big of a deal just being at 1-2 or 2-5 watching a movie for 2 hours while you're picking up Jack 6 offsuit, 8 deuce offsuit, and all those kind of bad hands. I would definitely recommend trying to speak to people, trying to be present at the table, something that I didn't really do in the beginning years of playing poker, but now that I feel like I do more, is just being present at the table, watching people play hands, interacting with people after hands, and then also just talking non-poker things at the table. It can really help bide the time while you're super card dead, and then when you do pick up queens finally, you can be focused, ready to go. We have made it to hole number 13. It's getting dark though. I don't think I'm gonna last any more holes after this. This might be the last one. I actually shot pretty good today, considering that I'm hitting off the girly tees and I have pretty bad form. I'm pretty happy with my shots, not bad. My back is killing me though. I don't even know where the pin is on this hole. Anyway, as for the session, Club 52, game was a little tight. Little conservative. I was hoping for more money on the table when I got there. There was only like $2,500 stacks. Stacks did get big later on. One action player there kind of playing a lot of hands and bluffing, but everybody else at the table seemed pretty solid. Seemed like they weren't getting too out of line, and I was definitely pretty card dead the entire session, as you guys saw. Ended up losing $900 that night. I am playing Best Bet in Jacksonville, live stream 10/25/50 in about a week and a half, so I'm going up for that. That'll be the next video. Excited for that, and yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna be trying to play some more golf because it's beautiful out here. My dad's in town as well. He came down from Boston, so we're probably gonna hang out this week and maybe play a little poker. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Put some of those tips to use the next time you're super card dead. You know, just remember, it's one long big poker session. You don't have to get it all back in one session, and distract yourself a little bit. Talk to some people. Be social at the table, you know, try to make some friends. You might see them every single day that you go play poker, and, you know, anyway. That's it for this one. I'm going to finish out this par 4 and then head home. Until next time, I'll see you.